Hey everybody, here we are with my first replay from 9.4. This was actually played right after it came out, but I've only just got around to recording it. Before the match actually kicks off, I've got a little bit of housekeeping to cover. Basically, Wargaming fucked something up in the replay system, and so now in the fixed camera, your tank randomly warps back and forth. I don't know what causes it. I don't think it can be fixed. However, if I go into the free camera, it doesn't happen. It's only in the fixed camera that this happens, and it's only been introduced with the 9.4 patch. The existing problems with replays are still in, of course, so hopefully Wargaming will figure out what they did and fix it. But if my 9.4 replay seemed a little jittery, that would be why. Anyway, so we're driving the SU-76I, which was a premium put in the store and then pulled in under a week. The reason for this is because it's so strong in a tier. It's a tier 3 premium tank destroyer. It gets preferential matchmaking, so it doesn't see tier 5s as far as I'm aware. And it has the gun from the tier 5 premium Matilda that the Soviets get. Now, what makes this tank so good is its relatively decent mobility, not quite as good as the Panzer III that it's based on, but certainly not bad, and its armor being good enough to bounce carelessly aimed pubby shots, like this guy consistently failing to pen me with a 2-pounder. And also, it has a gun which just puts out so much damage and pens forever. At these low tier matches, there's nothing that this gun cannot pen easily. And when it does pen, oh boy, does it do some damage. You are able to 2 or 3 shot pretty much anything in your tier. You're also actually capable of dealing with some of the heavier armoured tier 4s, which are a little much for a lot of the tier 3s to deal with. And at the same time, your armour is actually thick enough in places that they will have trouble pinning you unless they aim their shots very well. So I was very lucky to pick one of these up while they were still in the store. As far as I know, they aren't going back into it. Wargaming would rather pull them from the store and avoid a potential Type 59 situation than make any balance changes to them at the moment. They may be rebalanced in the future and maybe put back into the store, but that remains to be seen. The general layout of the tank is basically identical to the SU-85I, which it is obviously a close relative of. Playstyle is also quite similar. You have a high rate of fire, quite well penning gun for its tier. And you have passable enough armor to get away with assault gunning if you're top tier, but if you are not top tier, you're going to run into some problems. The gun handling isn't too bad. It tends to bloom out quite severely if you do too much moving, as you can see here, but it aims in quite quickly. And once it is aimed in, its accuracy is really not all that bad, considering it's a tier 4 gun, I think, on a tier 3 tank destroyer chassis. One important thing I should note is, although it seems to be handling fine on this hard ground pavers, it does have trouble on soft ground and even moderate ground. It has quite poor ground resistance values, which is curious considering the Panzer III is actually very good in terms of ground resistance. So if you find yourself on any kind of off-road terrain, you will lose some of your acceleration, turning rate, traction, all the good stuff. You won't be quite as mobile. But with that said, you will still be pretty mobile for something that's this strong at its tier. How strong? Well, I've made it through this match so far, only taking 1 damaging shot. And in fact, I think I only take one more damaging shot, and that's it for the game. So there we go. 1 of 4 shots from that Cruiser 3 finds a place that can get through my armor. And so that is the SU-76I. If you were lucky enough to pick one of these up, then you no doubt will be having a lot of fun times on Himmelsdorf in Tier 3 matches. If you weren't able to pick one up, just keep an eye on it. It may come back into the store in the future, depending on whether they make balance changes or not. I think the main motivator behind pulling it from the store was just to make sure that people didn't rush it while it was so overpowered, and then you end up with Tier 3 being flooded with them. Kind of like when people thought the Type 59 was the best thing since sliced bread. And even though the 59 wasn't really overpowered, there were just so damn many of them, you couldn't get away from them. It is a quite enjoyable little tank destroyer. It's completely effortless to play, especially because of the matchmaking bracket it gets. You can comfortably take this thing out and just roll around killing things without even paying attention, which makes it a good sort of time-wasting, de-stressing tank. So if you have a hard time up in the higher tiers, you can always drop back to this little guy and make up for it in the lower tiers, much to the detriment of lower tier pubbies who are just trying to grind their tanks. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Wish you the best of luck in the field, and I will see you next time.